Sometimes you feel like everything is falling apart. Your plans never get off the ground. Problems pile up, and a feeling of helplessness takes over. When life seems to crumble, it's hard to see a way out. But the good news is that even in the most difficult moments, you can find a way to reorganize yourself, regain control, and move forward. The question is, how to do it, how to stay strong when the weight of the world seems to be on your shoulders. Imagine for a moment that you are in a dark room. Every wall, every corner of the room is crumbling. The cracks are widening, and you don't know if you'll be able to escape. But deep down, there is a light. It's not intense, it's not blinding, but it's enough for you to begin to see the way, even if you're not yet sure where it leads. That's the first step, accepting that, even in the most difficult situations, there is a way to reorganize your life and regain control. You just need to take the first step. But let's be realistic. Organizing your life when everything seems to be falling apart isn't easy. We're not talking about a quick process where you push a button and everything goes back to normal. The first thing you need to understand is that external disarray often reflects internal disarray. When you feel lost, the chaos around you can be a manifestation of that. What you see in the outside world is often a reflection of your inner mess. So, the real question is, how do you organize your mind so that your external life also becomes organized? Now, you might be wondering, where do I begin? Let's address that, because beginning is the most important step. When the feeling of falling apart takes over, the first thing you should do is stop trying to fix everything at once. There's an obsession with wanting to solve all problems at once, but in reality, this only increases pressure and anxiety. When everything is falling apart, your focus needs to be on what's within your reach. What can you control? And, more importantly, what can you do immediately to bring some order to your inner chaos? Imagine a disorganized space, perhaps your room or even your mind. To begin tidying up, you don't try to organize everything at once. You start with a corner, an object, a thought, and you build from there. When life is in chaos, the most important thing is, take small steps. You may not be able to organize your entire life at once. Maybe you don't even have the strength to try, but if you can take a small step, whether it is writing a to-do list or simply taking a small step in the right direction, that already begins to bring order to your life. By taking this step, something very powerful is happening. You are regaining control. Often, the chaos in our lives is a feeling of loss of control. When life seems to be falling apart, it's easy to feel like you're at the mercy of events. However, by making the decision to focus on something simple and immediate, you begin to regain a sense of control. This is one of the greatest tricks to reorganizing your life. Start small and advance, little by little. Most people, when they try to solve everything at once, end up overwhelming themselves. Instead, focus on what you can do now, and that'll be the beginning of a more meaningful transformation. At the same time, there is a reality that you need to face. You can't control everything. For many people, this is a great lesson. When life seems to fall apart, it's very tempting to want to control every aspect of it. But there's something you need to understand. Not everything is under your control, and accepting this is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. There's a huge difference between trying to control the uncontrollable and focusing on what you can change. So, how do you begin to find a way to bring order to your life when everything seems to be falling apart? The answer lies in prioritize what is essential. Your life may have become a mountain of tasks, obligations, and worries, and you don't know where to begin. The key here is to identify what really matters, what truly needs your attention. It's easy to become overwhelmed, thinking that everything needs to be resolved now. But in reality, the most important thing is focus on what's essential. One way to do this is to question every aspect of your life. Ask yourself, is this really necessary? Will this help me move forward? Sometimes we get so caught up in other people's expectations or our own ideas of how life should be that we lose touch with what's truly important. When everything seems to be falling apart, asking these simple questions can help you reorganize your priorities and focus on what will really help you get back on your feet. Furthermore, one of the biggest barriers to organizing your life is procrastination. When things are out of control, the tendency is to avoid difficult tasks or important decisions. But, interestingly, the more you procrastinate, the more the pressure increases. Every day that passes without taking action is a day in which you feel you are sinking deeper. The solution to this is to act immediately and without perfection. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Take a step, even a small one. Take action today, right now, and you'll begin to realize that movement, however small, creates a ripple effect. You might be wondering, then, how to deal with the overwhelming emotions that arise when everything seems to be falling apart. The answer is simple. Don't ignore them feeling overwhelmed, anxious, afraid. All of that is natural, but ignoring or suppressing these emotions will only generate more suffering. Instead, allow yourself to feel. Acknowledge these emotions, but don't identify with them. Observe them without judgment. When you feel your life is falling apart, emotion often becomes the dominant factor. But if you can learn to observe your emotions without getting lost in them, you'll be on the right track to reorganizing your life. One way to deal with these emotions, I write about them by putting everything you're feeling down on paper. You can begin to see your concerns more clearly. Writing not only helps organize your thoughts, but also allows you to confront your emotions in a healthy way. And little by little, you'll start to realize that you're distancing yourself from the situation, observing your difficulties from the outside. This is crucial for finding more effective solutions. You might be wondering, but what do you do when you don't have the energy to even think? When your strength seems to have been drained? The answer here is very simple, but often ignored. Allow yourself to rest. There is no shame in stepping away for a while and allowing your body and mind to recover. The constant pressure of always being busy is one of the biggest traps that keeps us from true organization. Sometimes, the best step is to take a step back so you can move forward with more clarity and purpose. As you begin to take these small actions, one step at a time, you will realize that life begins to reorganize itself. Chaos begins to give way to order, and you will feel more confident to face the challenges. It's not a magic solution. It's a gradual process of recovery and growth. Finally, what you need to understand is that it's okay not to have all the answers immediately. Organizing your life when everything seems to be falling apart is a process that requires patience and persistence. But as you move forward, even if it's with small steps, you begin to rebuild what seemed impossible to rebuild. Now, I want to know from you. What do you do when everything seems to fall apart? How do you start to regain control? Leave your comment below, share your experiences and reflections. And if you found this content useful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications for more tips and insights on how to deal with life's difficulties. The journey isn't easy, but together we can move forward.